Today I would like to invite you to listen to the Dhammapada of the Buddha Sakyamuni, the 181st verses from the Buddhist scriptures on the YouTube channel Thien Thai in the USA. The wise ones who are intent on meditation, who delight in the peace of renunciation, such mindful perfect Buddhas even the gods hold most dear. In the time of the Blessed One, there was an occasion when the Devas gathered to pay homage to the Buddha. They did not honor the Buddha because of worldly power, wealth, fame, or authority. They honored the Buddha because he had completely purified his mind. He had abandoned greed, hatred, and delusion. His heart was filled with wisdom, compassion, and perfect peace. Seeing the immeasurable virtues of the fully enlightened one, the Devas rejoiced and paid their respects. Through this event, the Buddha taught that beings who diligently cultivate meditation, who cherish renunciation, and who realize the peace beyond worldly attachment become worthy of reverence by both humans and heavenly beings. The honor received by the Buddha arose not from status, but from the perfection of virtue, concentration, and wisdom. Dear friends in the Dharma, this verse opens a path for us to reflect deeply upon the direction of our lives. Every day, countless thoughts arise in our minds. Some thoughts lead us toward peace. Some thoughts lead us toward suffering. When we do not understand the nature of the mind, we follow our desires wherever they lead. We chase after pleasant sights, pleasant sounds, pleasant tastes, pleasant experiences, and pleasant praise. Yet after obtaining one thing, we seek another. After reaching one goal, we create a new goal. The heart never finds lasting satisfaction because worldly things are constantly changing. The Buddha saw this truth clearly. He understood that no conditioned thing can provide permanent happiness. Youth changes into old age. Health changes into sickness. Meeting changes into separation. Possession changes into loss. Praise changes into blame. Gain changes into loss. Fame changes into obscurity. Because all things are impermanent, attachment inevitably brings disappointment. Therefore, the Buddha taught the noble path of wisdom. He encouraged us to look deeply into the nature of existence and discover the peace that does not depend upon changing conditions. The verse speaks of wise ones who are intent on meditation. Meditation is not merely sitting quietly. Meditation is the training of the heart. It is the cultivation of awareness. It is the gentle return to the present moment. When the mind wanders into the past, we bring it back. When the mind rushes into the future, we bring it back. When desires arise, we observe them. When anger arises, we observe it. When fear arises, we observe it. Through patient observation, wisdom begins to grow. A person who practices meditation gradually discovers that thoughts are not the self. Emotions are not the self. Sensations are not the self. They arise according to causes and conditions. They remain for a time. Then they pass away. Seeing this truth repeatedly, attachment begins to loosen. The mind becomes lighter. The heart becomes more peaceful. The burdens that once seemed unbearable become easier to carry because wisdom has arisen. Meditation is like cleaning a mirror covered with dust. The dust represents greed, hatred, and delusion. The mirror represents the mind. When the dust is thick, the mirror cannot reflect clearly. When the dust is removed, the mirror naturally shines. In the same way, when defilements are weakened through mindful practice, the natural clarity of the mind becomes visible. Many people seek happiness in distant places. They believe that happiness will come after obtaining certain possessions or achieving certain accomplishments. Yet the Buddha taught that a disturbed mind experiences suffering even amid abundance. Therefore, the training of the mind is one of the greatest blessings. The verse also speaks of delighting in the peace of renunciation. Renunciation is often misunderstood. Some people think renunciation means losing everything. Some imagine it as deprivation or punishment. The Buddha taught renunciation in a very different way. Renunciation is the freedom that comes from letting go of attachment. It is not the loss of happiness. It is the discovery of a deeper happiness. Imagine carrying a heavy bag throughout the day. At first, the weight may seem manageable. After many hours, the burden becomes painful. If someone invites us to put the bag down, we experience relief. Renunciation is similar. The attachments we carry often create suffering. When wisdom helps us release them, the heart experiences freedom. The world teaches us to accumulate. The Dharma teaches us to understand. The world encourages us to grasp. The Dharma encourages us to let go. The world promises happiness through possession. The Dharma reveals happiness through liberation. These teachings may seem simple, yet they contain profound wisdom capable of transforming our lives. When we cling to praise, criticism hurts us deeply. When we cling to success, failure frightens us. When we cling to possessions, loss brings sorrow. When attachment weakens, the heart remains balanced amid changing circumstances. This balance is called equanimity. It is one of the beautiful qualities cultivated on the path. Renunciation does not require abandoning our responsibilities. It means abandoning attachment while fulfilling responsibilities with wisdom and compassion. A parent may care for a child with great love without clinging. A worker may perform duties diligently without attachment to recognition. A practitioner may engage with the world while maintaining inner freedom. The Buddha himself demonstrated this path. Before his enlightenment, he experienced luxury, comfort, and privilege. Yet he saw that worldly pleasures could not solve the problem of suffering. Motivated by compassion and wisdom, he renounced attachment and embarked upon the noble quest for awakening. His renunciation benefited countless beings throughout history. The peace praised in this verse is not ordinary peace. It is the peace born from understanding reality as it truly is. It is the peace that arises when craving ceases. It is the peace that remains steady amid changing conditions. This peace cannot be bought. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be inherited. It must be realized through practice. Mindfulness plays a central role in this realization. Mindfulness is the ability to know clearly what is happening in the present moment. When we walk, we know we are walking. When we speak, we know we are speaking. When we eat, we know we are eating. When emotions arise, we recognize them without becoming lost in them. A mindful person lives with greater wisdom because awareness illuminates experience. Without mindfulness, habits control behavior. With mindfulness, wisdom guides action. This transformation gradually leads to greater kindness, patience, and understanding. The verse states that such mindful, perfect Buddhas are dear even to the gods. Why is this so? Because heavenly beings recognize the greatness of spiritual accomplishment. They understand that worldly pleasures, even heavenly pleasures, are impermanent. They admire the one who has transcended all attachment and realized complete liberation. The Buddha never sought praise from humans or devas. His purpose was to reveal the path leading beyond suffering. Yet because his compassion was limitless and his wisdom perfect, beings throughout many realms naturally developed profound respect for him. This teaches us an important lesson. True greatness does not arise from seeking admiration. True greatness arises from cultivating virtue, concentration, and wisdom. When the heart becomes pure, respect follows naturally. When the heart seeks respect, suffering often follows. Therefore, let us practice sincerely. Let us cultivate generosity. Let us cultivate morality. Let us cultivate patience. Let us cultivate loving kindness. Let us cultivate mindfulness. Let us cultivate wisdom. These qualities gradually transform our lives and benefit everyone around us. Every moment of mindfulness is a step toward freedom. Every act of kindness weakens selfishness. Every moment of patience weakens anger. Every insight into impermanence weakens attachment. The path unfolds moment by moment through consistent practice. When difficulties arise, remember the teachings of the Buddha. Difficulties are not obstacles to practice. They are opportunities for practice. Patience develops when challenges appear. Compassion develops when suffering is encountered. Wisdom develops when impermanence is observed. The wise do not wait for perfect conditions before practicing. They practice amid ordinary circumstances. They bring mindfulness into daily life. They transform everyday experiences into opportunities for awakening. As we reflect upon this sacred verse, may we remember that the peace praised by the Buddha is available to all who practice sincerely. The path is open. The teachings are available. The opportunity exists in this very moment. May we develop minds that are calm and clear. May we cultivate hearts that are gentle and compassionate. May we walk the noble path with sincerity and determination. May wisdom arise within us. May attachment gradually fade away. May we discover the peace of renunciation praised by the enlightened ones. Continuing the reflection on the noble qualities praised in the Dhammapada verse, we turn our attention more deeply toward the lived experience of practice, where meditation and renunciation are not abstract ideals, but daily acts of awakening within ordinary life. When a practitioner begins to walk this path sincerely, the first thing they often notice is not peace, but disturbance. The mind that has long been accustomed to distraction suddenly becomes aware of its own instability. Thoughts appear without invitation. Memories rise like waves. Expectations stretch toward the future. Regrets pull toward the past. At this stage, many assume that meditation is not working. In truth, this is the beginning of seeing clearly. The Buddha did not promise that the mind would become peaceful immediately. Instead, he revealed that clarity must come before stability. One must first see the nature of confusion before one can transcend it. Just as a doctor must diagnose illness before prescribing medicine, the practitioner must recognize the restless patterns of the mind before freedom becomes possible. In this process, patience becomes a spiritual strength. Patience is not passive endurance. It is an active quality of steady awareness that does not reject experience and does not cling to it. When pleasant sensations arise, the practitioner observes without grasping. When unpleasant sensations arise, the practitioner observes without aversion. This balanced awareness slowly weakens the habitual reactions that bind the mind to suffering. Over time, something remarkable begins to occur. The practitioner discovers that peace is not something created. It is something uncovered. Beneath the layers of desire, fear, and confusion, there exists a natural clarity. This clarity is not dependent on external conditions. It is present even in moments of difficulty. However, it is only revealed when the disturbances of the mind are seen clearly and released. This is why the verse praises those who delight in renunciation. Renunciation is not rejection of life. It is the release of distortion. When one lets go of distorted perception, reality appears in its simplicity. The color of a flower becomes just color. The sound of wind becomes just sound. A thought becomes just a thought. Nothing needs to be added. Nothing needs to be removed. In such simplicity, the mind rests. This resting is not sleep or dullness. It is vivid awareness without interference. It is a mind that is awake but not grasping. It is alert but not disturbed. This state is what the Buddha pointed to as the beginning of true peace. Many beings search for happiness in complexity. They believe that happiness lies in accumulation, achievement, or recognition. Yet the Dharma reveals a different direction. It points toward reduction rather than addition, toward clarity rather than complication. As layers of craving are gently released, the heart becomes lighter. In that lightness, joy arises naturally. This joy is different from worldly pleasure. Worldly pleasure depends on conditions. It arises when conditions are favorable and disappears when they change. The joy of the Dharma, however, arises from understanding. It is not shaken by gain or loss. It is not dependent on praise or blame. It remains steady because it is rooted in wisdom rather than in external conditions. The wise ones who cultivate meditation come to see that everything conditioned is impermanent. This includes emotions, thoughts, relationships, and even the sense of identity itself. Nothing remains fixed. Everything flows according to causes and conditions. When this truth is deeply understood, clinging loses its foundation. Without clinging, suffering loses its fuel. And when suffering is no longer fueled by attachment, the heart naturally settles into peace. This is not achieved through force. It is realized through insight. The verse also reminds us that such awakened beings are honored even by celestial beings. This symbolizes a deeper truth. Even refined states of existence recognize the value of liberation. Even beings in higher realms, who enjoy vast pleasures and subtle joys, understand that such pleasures are still impermanent. Therefore, they revere those who have gone beyond all conditioned happiness. This reverence is not based on belief. It is based on recognition of freedom. Just as those who are still bound by illness honor one who has fully recovered, beings still within conditioned existence honor one who has transcended it completely. The Buddha's life serves as the ultimate illustration of this principle. Having realized complete awakening, he was no longer moved by praise or blame, gain or loss, pleasure, or pain. His mind rested in unwavering equanimity. Yet from this state of complete freedom arose boundless compassion. He taught not for personal benefit, but for the liberation of all beings. Compassion in the awakened mind is not emotional attachment. It is the natural expression of understanding. When one sees clearly that all beings suffer due to ignorance and craving, the heart responds with care and guidance. This compassion is steady, not fluctuating. It does not depend on emotional conditions. It arises from wisdom itself. Thus, meditation and compassion are not separate paths. They are two expressions of the same realization. Meditation purifies the mind. Compassion expresses the purified mind in action. Wisdom sees clearly. Compassion responds appropriately. Together, they form the balanced path of awakening. In daily life, this teaching becomes immediately practical. When interacting with others, one can observe the arising of reactions. When praised, pride may arise. When criticized, irritation may arise. When misunderstood, sadness may arise. Instead of following these reactions blindly, the practitioner pauses in awareness. This pause is the space where wisdom enters. Within that space, one begins to see that reactions are conditioned. They are not absolute truths. They are passing formations. With this understanding, one is no longer compelled to act from impulse. Instead, one responds with clarity. Sometimes silence is appropriate. Sometimes speech is appropriate. Sometimes action is necessary. Wisdom discerns the proper response. In this way, life itself becomes a field of practice. There is no separation between spiritual life and daily life. Every moment becomes an opportunity to cultivate mindfulness, patience, and insight. As this practice matures, the sense of a fixed self begins to soften. One sees that what was once considered me is actually a changing stream of experiences. Thoughts arise and pass. Emotions arise and pass. Sensations arise and pass. Even awareness itself is not personal. It is simply the knowing of experience as it occurs. This realization brings a profound relief. The burden of defending, preserving, and enhancing a fixed identity begins to dissolve. Life becomes lighter, more open, and more fluid. One is no longer trapped in constant self-concern. At this stage, renunciation becomes natural rather than forced. Letting go is no longer an effort. It becomes an understanding. One no longer clings because one sees clearly that nothing can truly be possessed. Everything is already in motion, already changing, already beyond control. This insight is the heart of the Dhamma. It is not merely philosophical understanding. It is direct realization. It transforms the way one experiences existence itself. Therefore, the wise ones praised in the verse are not distant or mythical beings. They are those who see clearly, practice steadily, and live with awakened awareness. They may appear ordinary externally, but internally they are free from the bonds that trap most beings. In honoring such beings, the teaching invites us to become like them, not through imitation alone, but through sincere practice. Step by step, moment by moment, awareness deepens. Attachment weakens. Understanding grows. Peace becomes more stable. In this way, the path of the Buddha remains alive in every generation, accessible to all who are willing to look deeply, practice sincerely, and let go wisely. Nama Amitabha bless to all. I hope to bring this merit towards all disciples and sentient beings, all of whom will attain Buddhahood. Please click like, share, and subscribe to help me grow my YouTube channel. Thanks you for watching my video.